Hey guys, this is Greg with Medical Muscle. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the 4 mistakes I made in the first 2 years of medical school that made me work way too hard. So I don't want you guys to make these mistakes that I made. Okay, so number 1 is making my own Anki cards. I love Anki. I think it's a very effective tool in medical school. And I do have to say, making my own Anki cards helped me get honors. But I think it just becomes too time consuming at a certain point if you're making all your own cards. Anki basically became my notes so that I could take the lecture material and put it into my own words and then make it into a card. My memory retention with my own cards was always much better than using a pre-made deck. Always, because I made the card, I knew what I needed to know from the content that I was putting in. The problem is past term 2, the pace of medical school just becomes too much. And although yes, it's better to put content into your own words, you just don't have enough time. There are a lot of great Anki decks that have really good explanations. And I think in the long run, that is a more effective tool for medical school. So that's the first one. Number 2 is whiteboarding. Too much, okay? So whiteboarding is a great tool when you have to memorize big blocks of information, usually in situations where you have to organize information into little topics or pathways in biochem. That's very helpful, but it is very time consuming. I feel like it's better to do your questions and see if you're actually struggling with the material. I noticed a lot of people whiteboard things that they may be good at, that they may know. It's just people have this anxiety that they may forget the content. Practice it in a question environment, some kind of multiple choice environment. If you're really struggling after doing the questions, then yes, definitely do some whiteboarding. I would say save the whiteboarding closer to exams because at that point you really know what you need to memorize, and whiteboarding is a great tool for that. So for these next 2 points, I'm going to tell you guys a little situation that I ran into. During term 3, I started realizing that Anki wasn't working, making my own Anki cards, and definitely in term 4 it wasn't. So I had a little anxiety of not writing things down, just going off of pure passive kind of studying techniques, like reading lecture slides or watching videos. It just kind of scared me that I wasn't putting anything into my own words anymore. So in term 4, I decided to do some things that I felt like were completely stupid and probably way worse. I started taking notes, physical hand notes. Just quick jotting down lecture stuff. I think that is a huge error in your medical studies. Not that it doesn't help with retention. Taking notes are great for memory retention. The problem is they take too long and you end up not getting to cover all the material. Actually, the real problem is you're not getting to cover the material multiple times. Covering the material multiple times is more effective for memory retention than really trying to struggle to write everything out and memorize it just that one time, because you're gonna forget it. As good as your notes are, you're gonna forget it after a certain point. So it's better to have some kind of more passive way of memorization, maybe a little bit more active with like Anki questions, but just watching a video can be more helpful than doing notes. All right, now here's point number 4, and it's kind of on the same things as writing notes, is instead of doing notes, then I thought, okay, well, I need some images. So I started making these Google Docs of basically the synthesized version of the lecture. I would add images in there, and I kind of break things down in as simplistic as I could. And it was on a digital copy. So it had the photos, it had all that stuff. I thought it'd be faster because now I'm typing instead of taking physical notes. But again, that is not the case. Having to make these documents still took a lot of time. And yes, again, It is an effective tool to make your own resources, you know, taking notes or making these kind of Google Docs of lecture material. It seems like it makes sense, but in reality, it just takes too much time, and it's always better to see the material more frequently rather than getting one really hard, consolidation of the information. So those are my 4 mistakes that I made. I wish I changed them earlier so I didn't have to work so freaking hard. I mean, they all helped me get honors, but I feel like there's easier ways to do things. All right, guys, I wish you the best of luck. Kick some butt.